This is what I have learned in the journey of life. I was not going to measure his name, but once you measure my name, I must measure your name. I heard Sowore now try to mislead us. He said he contested for presidency of Nigeria and that INEC is of no use. If INEC is of no use, why did you submit your forms to INEC? And this is the way, because in the course of talking, he also said we made a mistake in not contesting in 1999. It is this same cynicism, doubt, dismiss, sweeping generalization that misled those or some of those who struggle for democracy to say nothing good can come out of the military. They don't mean it. There will be no election. A rat cannot give birth to a rabbit. There were all kinds of stories. How can the military midwife real democracy? No, it's not possible. Because it's always better to dismiss everything, we'll get a ladder applause. Then the bad guys decided, since you guys who fight and you keep dismissing those who were in charge of the system you want to change, we will go in there. They went in and they captured power. And they changed the contour of power. They changed the rules of the game. And I can speak with authority why I say, when you dismiss in a very sweeping manner that the country is hopeless, the system is impossible, so we should begin to cry. I stand here to say that every leader, every one of us here, must do nothing to discourage people from believing that there is no future, because the past and the present is not as rousing as we want it to be. The fact of the imperfections, the fight of the gap between where we think we ought to be and where we are, should be enough incentive for us not to give up on ourselves. And that is what took me to Edo State. And I need you to listen to this. When Sowore said Agbakoba should have been president if he had his way, the first thing that I said to myself is, given the level of his courage, why did he say so that time? And then mobilize people and put Agbakoba in front. There is no need to say something when it is no longer useful. It has expired. If you had done that, and there's some other person's support, Ayobe, you are the most courageous woman I have met. We were not C101, but I read through bourgeois almost courage to say things that only people who are not afraid of dying could say when you were president of the CLO. I never visited your house, you never visited my house, but we meet in the marketplace of ideas, and I saw that, no, for you, if anybody can say anything, you can say it even clearer. And the advantage you have, your face was very, very misleading. Because women who are good-looking hardly like trouble. They hardly like trouble. Like me, it's predictable why I like trouble, because even looking at me, I can't look better than I am. However, I tried. I could do makeup, I could do surgery. This man will not grow taller. This man will not expand. And my face can be frightening, as Demitola will tell you. So, but you, Ayo, you inspire many women, and I had used you without your consent to explain to women who want a society, equality, women representation, but those who benefit from another cannot be trusted to give up on that other. It is those who are victims of the other who must rise to fight for the change. How can you change what benefits you? So with women like you show that you could speak even louder and clearer than a senior advocate, Agbakoba. You did. And what people like you did to us is that because you are so, a senior advocate, when you talk, we who are not even advocates, if they can say so, it means we are not exactly stupid. That is those of us who come from the factory, blue-collar background. But don't say this, sir. You said something, now you notice, I'm not commenting on the book, because Oro has a reason not to give me a copy of the book. So I will have to speak based on the faces I have seen and some of the comments that have been made. Correct me if I'm wrong. I read something recently. S.A. and Agbakoba, who taught us to fight for anything we are not satisfied with. I think you were reported as saying Western democracy is not working in Nigeria. You said so. So I said, okay, if Western democracy is not working in Nigeria, unfortunately, I didn't read any following up statement. Shall we go to Chinese democracy? Shall we go to Russia democracy or Ukraine democracy? Which one should we go for? Should we revert back? Should we, like some people have said, we were not around for democracy? Should we bring the old British people back so that we can reconstruct again? And when you say that, there was something that troubled me. But when it matters, Nigeria selects, quote, eminent people. From my own background, every human being born of a woman is eminent. If you know the amount of blood women spill in the course of giving birth to a human being, every human being that lives is eminent because of what went through the production and bringing that man back to life. The Nigerian working class have never influenced the direction of our politics. It was the collection of lawyers. Sorry, I'm almost fighting with the microphone. It was the collection of lawyers that wrote to me the law. The 21 wise men, which belong to the elite, who said, parliamentary system is not good for Nigeria. We need a strong government, a strong center. So we move from parliamentary system to democracy, to presidential system. I don't think the working class were called upon to vote because they were not wise. Those who are wise were those lawyers, big men and women who collaborate with the military. And so, without any referendum, it was decreed as follows, that Nigeria shall move from parliamentary system of government to presidential system. Now, this same elite, when the presidency begin to assert executive powers, including signing executive orders, and is not favoring a segment of the elite, then they begin to say, the center is too strong. We need to restructure. We need to develop devolution of powers, and so on and so forth. So I see a country whose elite keep misleading the working people who look up to the elite for direction. Now somebody just told me that even my friend who was a member of the House was secretary to Uche. I was just told that you were secretary to one PDP governor in Imo. Ihedioha, who stole his vote, and the court found that he stole the vote, and you were secretary to that government, and the way you dismiss PDP, it's okay, you are telling your opinion, but the thing that excites me is that the vehement, the venom with which you dismiss the political class, what we think that you would never have near any of them, whether the victim of stealing or the beneficiary of stealing. What does it matter? They are a bunch of rascals, according to you. I'm just quoting you. So the point I'm making is that we do need to be careful on occasions like this, not to be so we generalize so much that sometimes I ask myself, who are the angels? I think that even in this confusion, it makes sense that we identify some islands of success. Giving up, you shouldn't. Ganifa Himi called on me, not secretly. It was reported by editors that Oshiomhole should go and contest for the presidency of Nigeria. He was supported by Professor Ise Sage and several other rugged, dogged freedom fighters on account of my modest stewardship as president of the Nigerian Labour Congress. In history, whether anybody like me or not, you too criticize it. You can be wrong, you can be right. Once we recognize that no one has monopoly of wisdom, but we have a shared commitment about direction, the country, the world need not be impossible. I am a believer that whatever I don't like, I fight to change it. May we all have that spirit. Thank you, Oro, for what you have written.